Before a man loses his future, he loses control of his attention, not suddenly, not dramatically. He loses it in fragments. 10 minutes wasted here, an hour surrendered there, another morning spent watching others live, while his ambition weakens. Machiavelli understood that whoever controls a man's attention can influence his choices, weaken his discipline, and redirect his life. That is why the world fights for your eyes. Every notification wants to interrupt your purpose. Every controversy wants to occupy your mind. Every temptation wants to keep you stimulated, distracted, and harmless. A distracted man is easy to defeat. He cannot plan deeply because his thoughts are broken. He cannot build patiently because he needs pleasure. He cannot protect his ambition because he exposes it to opinions, comparison, and doubt. You must become different. Your attention must become guarded territory. Not every voice deserves access to your mind. Not every insult deserves a reaction. Not every invitation deserves your time. Learn to observe without absorbing. Listen without obeying. Walk through noise without allowing it to enter you. It is the raw material from which your future will be built. Where attention goes, identity follows. Focus on weakness, and weakness multiplies. Focus on resentment, and resentment becomes your nature. Focus on discipline, strategy, and self-mastery, and your old identity begins to starve. This is how transformation begins. You stop feeding what keeps you ordinary. You stop giving your strongest hours to people who have no place in your future. You become selective, patient, and unavailable to anything that makes you smaller. Comment: my attention belongs to my mission. Because the moment you control what enters your mind, you begin controlling what emerges from your life. Once a man rules his attention, the world completely loses one of its greatest weapons against him. Number 2. Guard your ambition in silence. Ambition is powerful, but exposed ambition becomes vulnerable. The moment you tell everyone what you are building, you invite opinions from people who have never built anything. You attract doubt from the fearful, competition from the insecure, and interference from those who would rather see you remain familiar. Machiavelli understood that serious plans must mature in silence. A ruler does not announce every movement before the army is ready. He reveals his intentions only when the result can no longer be prevented. You must learn the same discipline. Stop explaining your future to people who only understand your past. Stop seeking encouragement from those who benefit from your hesitation. Your ambition does not need applause. It needs protection, structure, and relentless execution. Speak less about what you will become. Work harder on becoming it. Let people underestimate you. Let them believe you are ordinary, inactive, or satisfied. Their misjudgment gives you room to move without resistance. When no one knows the full scale of your intentions, no one knows where to strike. This is not fear. It is strategy. Every dream becomes fragile when it is repeatedly exposed to careless hands. Some people will discourage you because your growth forces them to confront their stagnation. Others will praise you too early, giving your mind the false satisfaction of achievement before the work is finished. Both reactions can weaken you. Guard yourself against them. Do not celebrate foundations as though you have already built the empire. Do not confuse planning with progress or attention with respect. Stay hungry, stay quiet, stay focused on the distance between who you are and who you have decided to become. Your ambition must become private fire. It should burn without smoke, warming your discipline while giving your enemies no signal. Comment: my plans speak through results. Write it with conviction. From this moment forward, make secrecy part of your strength. Reveal less. Prepare more. Allow your habits to grow in darkness until your results become impossible to ignore. One day, the same people who questioned your silence will study your transformation and wonder when it happened. They will not understand that while they were talking, you were constructing. While they were watching, you were sharpening. While they were doubting, you were becoming. A man who guards his ambition cannot be easily delayed, manipulated, or defeated. His silence is not emptiness. It is the sound of power gathering before it arrives. Number 3. Starve the weak version of yourself. You will never become unrecognizable while continuing to feed the habits that made you ordinary. The weaker version of you survives through repetition. It lives inside your excuses, your delays, your need for comfort, and your habit of negotiating with every difficult task. It does not need to defeat you in one dramatic moment. It only needs to convince you to postpone your transformation one more day. Machiavelli understood that power is rarely lost through a single mistake. It is lost through small weaknesses left unchallenged until they become permanent. This is why you must become ruthless with the patterns that keep you small. Stop treating every desire as an order. Stop obeying every mood. Stop assuming that discomfort means you are moving in the wrong direction. Sometimes discomfort is proof that the old identity is losing control. Your weak self will speak in a familiar voice. It will tell you that you deserve rest before the work is complete. It will promise that tomorrow will be different. It will remind you how hard life has been, hoping you will use pain as permission to remain undisciplined. Do not argue with that voice. Starve it. Every time you act despite resistance, it becomes weaker. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, silence over reaction, and progress over pleasure, you remove another piece of its authority. You do not destroy weakness by hating yourself. You destroy it by refusing to serve it. Build routines that do not depend on motivation. Create standards that remain firm when your emotions collapse. Wake up and execute before doubt has time to organize itself. The man you are becoming must be stronger than the feelings trying to preserve the man you have been. Comment, I no longer feed my weakness. Write it as a warning to your former self. Transformation is not adding new habits while protecting old excuses. It is replacement. The distracted man must disappear so the focused man can rise. The approval seeker must vanish so the self-respecting man can stand. The hesitant man must be buried so the decisive man can move. People may say you have changed. Let them. You were supposed to change. Your old identity was never your destiny. It was only a temporary structure built from repeated choices. Change the choices and the structure collapses. Keep starving the version of you that begs for comfort, and one day you will look back at him like a stranger you no longer recognize. Number 4. Turn discipline into your private law. Discipline becomes power only when it stops being a temporary reaction and becomes the law by which you live. Most men behave well only when they feel inspired, watched, threatened, or desperate. They train when motivation is high. They focus when pressure becomes unbearable. They control themselves when consequences are visible. But the moment comfort returns, their standards collapse. This makes them predictable, and anything predictable can be controlled. Machiavelli understood that authority is preserved through structure, not emotion. A kingdom cannot depend on the ruler's mood, and your future cannot depend on yours. You need rules that remain active when desire disappears. Decide what must be done, then remove the option of negotiation. When the hour arrives, you work. When temptation appears, you refuse it. When your mind offers excuses, you continue without debate. This is how you become dangerous to your former limitations. You stop asking yourself whether you feel ready. You stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop treating every moment of resistance like a reason to retreat. Discipline means carrying out the command you gave yourself when your mind was clear, even when your weaker emotions later attempt a rebellion. At first, this will feel severe. Good. Your impulses have ruled you for too long. They must learn that they no longer sit on the throne. Hunger does not always require indulgence. Anger does not always require expression. Fatigue does not always require surrender. Desire does not always deserve satisfaction. A man becomes powerful when there is distance between what he feels and what he does. In that distance, choice is born. In that choice, authority is built. Create private standards that no audience can weaken and no praise can inflate. Do the work when nobody notices. Keep promises that only you remember. Correct yourself before the world has the opportunity to expose you. Comment, my discipline is my law. Write it as a contract with the man you intend to become. You do not need to appear intense. You need to become consistent. Intensity impresses people for a moment, but consistency rebuilds identity. Every completed task proves that your commands carry weight. Every resisted temptation strengthens your internal hierarchy. Every difficult morning in which you rise and execute tells your mind that weakness no longer has voting rights. Eventually, discipline stops feeling like punishment. It becomes self-respect in action. You begin trusting yourself because your words are followed by behavior. You no longer fear hard seasons because you know you will continue moving through them. The world may still create obstacles, but it cannot easily defeat a man who has become incapable of betraying his own standards. Number 5. Become unavailable to distraction. Distraction is not always loud. Sometimes it arrives disguised as curiosity, entertainment, harmless conversation, or the need to know what everyone else is doing. It asks for only a few minutes, but those minutes become hours, and those hours quietly consume the life you claimed you wanted to build. Machiavelli understood that a man surrounded by competing influences cannot move with precision. His decisions become reactive. His priorities become unstable. His ambition becomes vulnerable to whatever captures his attention next. This is why you must become unavailable to distraction, not occasionally, completely. You must stop treating focus like a mood and begin treating it like a strategic advantage. Every time you allow meaningless noise to interrupt meaningful work, you teach your mind that your mission can be postponed. Every time you abandon a difficult task for easy stimulation, you strengthen the part of you that escapes pressure. Soon, you become incapable of remaining still long enough to create anything powerful. You check, scroll, respond, react, and consume, but you produce nothing that changes your position. That must end. Decide which hours belong to your future and defend them without apology. Turn off the noise, leave the room, ignore the message, refuse the invitation. You do not owe constant access to people who are not responsible for your destiny. Some will call you distant because they were comfortable when you were always available. Some will accuse you of changing because your distraction once benefited them. Let them misunderstand. Your responsibility is not to remain accessible. Your responsibility is to become capable. A man building something serious cannot be available for every conversation, every crisis, and every emotional demand. He must know the difference between what is urgent and what is merely loud. He must recognize that many people do not need his presence. They need his attention because attention makes them feel important. Guard it. Your mind should not be an open marketplace where every stranger, opinion, and impulse is allowed to enter. It should be a war room, controlled, ordered, purposeful. Comment: distraction has no authority over me. Write it before the next temptation arrives, then prove it through action. Sit with the task after the excitement disappears. Continue when boredom begins. Stay when your mind searches for escape. This is where most men surrender, and this is where you separate yourself from them. The ability to concentrate after motivation fades is a form of power. It allows you to learn faster, build deeper, and see opportunities that scattered minds cannot recognize. Over time, silence will become comfortable. Solitude will become productive. Focus will become natural. People will wonder how you changed so quickly, but they will not see the countless moments in which you rejected distraction and returned to the work. You did not transform quickly. You simply stopped interrupting your own transformation. Become so committed to your purpose that chaos can exist around you without entering you. When your attention can no longer be purchased by temptation, provoked by insult, or stolen by noise, you become difficult to manipulate and almost impossible to stop. Number 6. Protect your ambition from other people's limits. Your ambition will rarely be attacked directly. Most people will not stand in front of you and admit that your growth threatens them. They will disguise their resistance as concern. They will call your goals unrealistic, your discipline unhealthy, your silence arrogance, and your transformation obsession. They will encourage balance when what they truly want is familiarity. Your old behavior made them comfortable. Your availability made you useful. Your hesitation made you predictable. The moment you begin moving beyond the role they assign to you, they feel the distance growing, and many will attempt to pull you back without appearing cruel. Machiavelli understood that people often judge another man's potential according to their own courage. The fearful will tell you to be cautious. The undisciplined will tell you not to take life so seriously. The defeated will call acceptance wisdom because they no longer possess the strength to fight for more. Listen carefully, but do not absorb their limits. Advice is never neutral. Every person speaks through the boundaries of his own experience, wounds, failures, and desires. Someone who abandoned his ambition may resent the sight of yours surviving. Someone who settled may feel exposed by your refusal to settle. Someone who fears risk may describe your courage as foolishness. You must learn to separate useful warning from contagious fear. Do not become arrogant, but become selective. Examine the life of the person offering guidance. Has his thinking produced a reality you respect? Has he paid the price required to understand the path you are walking? Is he trying to protect your future or preserve his access to your old identity? These questions will save you from surrendering your direction to unqualified voices. You do not need everyone to understand what you are building. Most people cannot recognize a structure while it is still underground. They only respect what is visible, finished, and undeniable. Let them doubt the foundation. Keep building. Do not waste energy convincing spectators that the empire will stand. Use that energy to strengthen the walls. Every explanation exposes your plans to judgment, and every argument places your conviction in the hands of people who have done nothing to earn that power. Stop defending your hunger. Stop apologizing for your standards. Stop shrinking your vision so that those around you do not feel left behind. You are not betraying anyone by becoming more disciplined, capable, and self-controlled. You betray yourself when you remain small to protect another person's comfort. Comment, their limits will not become mine. Write it with cold certainty, then watch how people respond when your behavior changes. Some will respect you, some will distance themselves. Some will attempt to remind you of every mistake you made before you became serious. They will use your history as evidence against your future. Do not argue with them. Your past is not a prison unless you continue obeying it. Let your consistency answer every accusation. Let your progress make their memory irrelevant. The stronger you become, the less permission you require. You stop asking whether others approve of the path because you understand that approval is often offered only when your choices remain harmless. Real ambition creates tension. It changes routines, relationships, priorities, and identity. It may force you to outgrow conversations you once enjoyed and environments you once called home. Accept the cost. Not everyone can follow where discipline is taking you. Some relationships were built around your weakness and cannot survive your strength. Do not hate those who cannot understand you. Simply stop allowing their confusion to become your command. Protect your ambition like a ruler protects a rising kingdom, quietly, intelligently, and without apology. Your future needs your loyalty more than your past needs your familiarity. Keep moving until the man they remember no longer exists, and the man standing before them requires no explanation. Number 7. Build in solitude until results become your identity. There comes a point in every serious transformation when solitude is no longer optional. You cannot rebuild yourself while remaining constantly surrounded by the habits, voices, and expectations that created your weaker identity. At some stage, you must step away, not because you hate people, not because isolation makes you superior, but because construction requires concentration, and concentration demands distance from unnecessary influence. Machiavelli understood that a ruler must sometimes withdraw from the crowd to see the battlefield clearly. When you are too close to noise, you confuse movement with progress and attention with importance. Solitude removes the audience. It reveals whether your ambition is real or whether you were only performing discipline for approval. When nobody is watching, will you still train? Will you still study? Will you still keep your promises? Will you still sacrifice comfort for a future that has not yet rewarded you? These questions expose the truth. Anyone can appear committed under observation. Power is built in private when there is no applause to stimulate you and no fear of embarrassment to push you forward. You must learn to work without recognition. Wake up and execute while the world remains unaware of your intentions. Improve skills nobody currently respects. Strengthen your mind while others waste theirs chasing immediate pleasure. Let your days become repetitive, controlled, and productive. The weak man fears repetition because it does not entertain him. The disciplined man respects repetition because he knows identity is formed through what is done again and again. You are not trying to have one powerful day. You are trying to become a powerful man. That requires months in which nothing appears to be changing, even though everything beneath the surface is being rebuilt. Solitude will test you. It will remove distractions that once protected you from your own thoughts. It will force you to confront your laziness, insecurity, regret, and fear without an audience to comfort you. Do not run. Sit with what appears. Study it, understand it, then bring it under control. A man who cannot remain alone will eventually become a servant to anyone who offers him company. He will tolerate disrespect to avoid abandonment. He will compromise his standards to remain included. He will betray his mission because silence frightens him. You must become free from this weakness. Comment, I build without needing to be seen. Write it as a promise to yourself. Learn to enjoy the room where nobody applauds you. Learn to respect the season when nobody understands you. Learn to trust the process before the evidence becomes visible. During this period, people may assume you have disappeared, failed, or lost direction. Let them assume. Their misunderstanding protects your work. While they underestimate you, you gain the freedom to experiment, fail, correct, and sharpen yourself without interference. Do not rush to prove that you are improving. Premature exposure creates pressure to appear successful instead of becoming capable. Remain hidden long enough for your habits to harden. Remain quiet long enough for your knowledge to deepen. Remain patient long enough for your results to become permanent. Then, when you return, do not announce that you have changed. Let the difference disturb them. Let your posture, discipline, speech, restraint, and accomplishments reveal what happened in your absence. The goal is not to impress people with a temporary performance. The goal is to build yourself so completely that excellence becomes your normal behavior. When results become your identity, you no longer chase recognition. Recognition begins chasing you, and by then, you will no longer need it. Number 8. Make your mind impossible to invade. Your greatest battle is not against the world. It is against every thought, emotion, memory, and impulse that tries to enter your mind and command your behavior without permission. Most men believe they are free because nobody is physically restraining them, yet they are controlled by anger, envy, fear, desire, comparison, and the opinions of people they claim not to respect. One insult ruins their day. One rejection changes their self-image. One setback makes them question their entire direction. Their bodies may be free, but their minds are occupied territory. Machiavelli understood that a ruler who cannot control the forces inside his own walls will eventually lose the kingdom, no matter how powerful he appears from the outside. You must become the ruler of your internal world. This does not mean becoming emotionless. It means refusing to let emotion become authority. Anger may appear, but it does not decide your next move. Fear may speak, but it does not choose your direction. Doubt may enter, but it does not receive the throne. You observe these forces without becoming their servant. This is cold power psychology, the ability to feel deeply while acting strategically. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy. Your true level is revealed when someone disrespects you, delays you, betrays you, or attempts to provoke you. In that moment, your first impulse will often be your weakest response. It will want revenge, explanation, attention, or immediate relief. Do not obey it. Pause. Silence creates distance between the attack and your reaction, and in that distance, control returns to you. The man who can make you react can make you predictable. Once you are predictable, you can be manipulated. They know which words will anger you, which absence will make you chase, which compliment will lower your guard, and which threat will force you into a careless decision. Remove this access. Stop displaying every emotional wound. Stop revealing what frightens you, what flatters you, and what makes you desperate. Privacy is psychological armor. The less others know about the machinery inside you, the harder it becomes for them to control it. Comment, "My mind cannot be invaded." Write it as a command, not a wish. Then begin defending your inner world with discipline. Question every thought that weakens you. Ask whether it is true, useful, and aligned with the man you are building. Many thoughts are not instructions. They are old conditioning, temporary chemistry, or echoes from people who no longer belong in your life. You do not have to believe everything your mind produces. Replace emotional reflex with deliberate response. When insulted, study the intention. When rejected, study the lesson. When tempted, study the cost. When afraid, study the opportunity hidden behind the fear. This is how you turn psychological pressure into strategic information. Over time, people will notice that their usual weapons no longer work. Provocation will meet stillness. Manipulation will meet clarity. Flattery will meet suspicion. Pressure will meet patience. They may call you cold because they can no longer enter your mind freely. Let them. You are not becoming cruel. You are becoming governed. Your peace is no longer public property. Your confidence is no longer dependent on applause. Your direction is no longer vulnerable to temporary emotion. Once your mind becomes disciplined territory, chaos may surround you, but it cannot command you. And a man who cannot be mentally invaded cannot be easily broken, controlled, or defeated. Number 9. Turn your ambition into an unbreakable identity. Ambition remains fragile when it is only something you feel. Feelings rise and fall. Some mornings you wake up hungry, certain, and ready to conquer everything in front of you. Other mornings you feel slow, doubtful, and disconnected from the future you once promised yourself. If your ambition depends on emotion, your progress will always be unstable. You must turn ambition into identity. You must stop saying, "I am trying to become disciplined," and begin living as a man who does not abandon his standards. Stop saying, "I want to become focused," and behave like a man whose attention cannot be purchased by noise. Machiavelli understood that power becomes secure when it is no longer dependent on temporary conditions. A ruler cannot govern only when the kingdom is peaceful. He must remain composed when loyalty shifts, pressure rises, and uncertainty spreads. You must develop the same inner authority. Your ambition must survive boredom, rejection, fatigue, loneliness, and delay. It must continue breathing when nobody believes in you and when your efforts produce no visible reward. Most men do not fail because their goals are impossible. They fail because they remain emotionally attached to immediate evidence. When results come slowly, they assume the path is wrong. When recognition disappears, they lose intensity. When progress becomes repetitive, they begin searching for a new obsession. This is weakness disguised as curiosity. Powerful men do not constantly change direction because the road becomes uncomfortable. They strengthen their ability to remain on it. You must decide who you are before circumstances decide for you. Create an identity so clear that temptation feels like betrayal. A disciplined man does not need to debate whether he should complete the work. Completion is part of who he is. A focused man does not negotiate with every interruption. Protection of attention is part of his nature. A self-respecting man does not chase those who repeatedly disrespect him. Withdrawal is built into his standards. This is how identity removes unnecessary decisions. It transforms discipline from a daily argument into automatic law. Every action then becomes a vote for the man you are constructing. Every difficult task completed strengthens his position. Every promise kept gives him more authority. Every temptation rejected weakens the former identity that once controlled you. But understand this, your old self will not disappear without resistance. It will attempt to return during moments of stress. It will remind you of the comfort you once accepted. It will encourage you to break one rule, miss one day, send one desperate message, or return to one destructive habit. It will call the surrender harmless. Do not believe it. Weak identities rebuild themselves through small permissions. A single mistake will not destroy you, but excusing the pattern will. Correct yourself immediately. Do not turn failure into identity. Turn it into information. Study where your defense is weakened, strengthen the structure, and continue moving. Comment. My ambition is who I am. Write it with the seriousness of a man signing his name beneath a permanent decision. You are no longer waiting for the perfect mood to act. You are no longer asking the world to remind you of your value. You are no longer treating your future like an optional destination. You are building a self-concept that can survive pressure. Others may attempt to define you through your past, but identity is not what happened to you. Identity is what you repeatedly choose after understanding what happened. You can be wounded without becoming weak. You can be rejected without becoming desperate. You can fail without becoming a failure. The world may create circumstances, but you decide what those circumstances are allowed to produce inside you. Build yourself until discipline feels natural, silence feels powerful, solitude feels productive, and progress feels necessary. Build until the habits that once required effort become the standards you defend instinctively. Build until your old excuses sound foreign. Build until the person you were would no longer recognize the way you think, move, speak, and decide. Then your ambition will no longer be a dream you are chasing. It will become the force governing your entire existence. Number 10. Build yourself beyond recognition. There will come a moment when the life you are building no longer fits the man you used to be. Your old routines will feel empty. Your old conversations will feel repetitive. Your old excuses will sound embarrassing. This is the point where transformation becomes irreversible. You are no longer forcing yourself to change. You have changed. Machiavelli understood that real power is not announced. It is recognized through presence, restraint, preparation, and results. The man who once needed attention now guards it. The man who once exposed every plan now moves in silence. The man who once reacted to every insult now studies the intention behind it. You have become difficult to distract because your mission is clear, difficult to manipulate because your emotions are governed, and difficult to defeat because you no longer depend on comfort to continue. But do not become careless now. Success creates new temptations. Recognition may invite ego. Progress may invite complacency. Power may convince you that the discipline that created you is no longer necessary. This is how strong men quietly return to weakness. Never believe you have finished building yourself. The moment you stop sharpening, decline begins. Remain a student of your own behavior. Examine your decisions. Correct your weaknesses before they become visible to others. Protect your mornings, your standards, your silence, and your direction. Let every new level demand a stronger version of you. People may say they miss the old you. Understand what they are truly saying. They miss the version of you that was easier to access, easier to influence, and easier to understand. Do not return merely to make others comfortable. You did not survive your darkest seasons to become familiar again. You survived so you could become formidable. Comment: I have become unrecognizable to weakness. Let that be your final declaration. From this day forward, control your attention as though your future depends on it, because it does. Guard your ambition as though the world would weaken it if given access, because it will. Build yourself so relentlessly that your past can no longer predict your actions. Become quieter, sharper, more patient, and more deliberate. Do not chase the appearance of power. Build the habits that create it. And when the world finally notices your transformation, do not stop to explain how it happened. Keep moving. The goal was never to shock them. The goal was to become untouchable. If this message awakened something in you, like this video, subscribe to Machiavellian Mind and turn on notifications. Your transformation has begun, but the man you are capable of becoming is still waiting for your next move.